All right, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Yeah, thank you for the audio and visual test. I appreciate it. Cool. Okay, here's the camera. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. It is June the 2nd. We made it through the month of April, and of course, the month of May as well. And we are greeted this morning with another dollar sell-off. Equities, as usual, are trying to rally. They're not rallying actually, but they're off the lows. That's typically what equities do until they crash. Silver this morning is making a big move. Good morning, everyone. Serge Berger here from thesteadytrader.com. This is our Set the Market morning call. We are going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes together going through some of the top things on my notepad and, of course, take questions if you guys have anything. Very importantly, please subscribe to the channel. Really goes a long way. It helps us to be able to continue to do this morning show. It helps the algorithms pick up that it's being watched. Give us a thumbs up, like, very important as well. And of course, for you, maybe most importantly, the reason why you want to subscribe to the channel for free is so you get updated in real time when we go live, like for example right now, and any other analysis that we do. So, top few things on my notepad this morning. Number one, we got to talk about the dollar. The dollar's plummeting again this morning, which is why big rally this morning in silver. You're looking at it right there. Big rally in gold. And then we need to talk about a couple of stocks that are coming back to the fore, and oil as well and natural gas are all having big mornings this morning, and it's notable. For good measure, we'll throw pound here and there as well. Might as well, because I know that's the only thing everyone cares about. So let's talk about the dollar. What's going on? The dollar index this morning is back to where it was a few days ago. In fact, this morning it went a bit lower. It's almost back to where it was in mid-April. Almost. It's not there yet. Why? Well, we know, and this has been our theme that I've been trying to make clear to people, that there are a lot of investors globally that are at the margin reducing dollar exposure. And that in and of itself is going to keep stocks like Nvidia and the like ultimately from being able to go much, much, much higher, at least at the current rate, right? At the current moment in time. So watch the dollar very closely. The lower the dollar goes, the more technically gold should rally. If you look at gold this morning, you can see it is up almost 2%. And again, for those of you guys that like to draw lines on charts, this is a consolidation phase that is now trying to resolve to the upside. So gold is up, but it's not just gold likes to go up because it likes to go up, it's because the dollar is down, right? So for all of you, including me, for all of you here that are dollar-based people, myself including, this morning is not really a good morning because our currency, for me it's the US dollar, is essentially giving me less, to spend with. But the price of gold is going up. So, you might say to yourself, well, I don't care. I'm not traveling to Europe this summer. Well, you're going to care because you're going to be able to buy less stuff with your dollar that gets imported, for example, right? And then on top of that, you get the tariffs, and so that's a whole other story. But as a hedge against, at least a partial hedge against the dollar, the de-dollarization, it's I think it's an interesting idea to own some gold. Again, gold is not meant to go higher in a straight shot, and you guys know we talked about that fateful day, this 22nd of April. I'm going to quickly show it to you here so you can see it on the Vertical X Pro indicator. So this here is our extreme overbought oversold indicator, the Vertical X Pro. Remember, it gave us, we talked about it here live, we talked about it for quite some time, a month and a half ago at this point almost, that the gold was getting overbought. I hedged it. I actually went net short gold, and now I'm out of it. And gold this morning's having a big day. I closed my hedge, I think, at this point 2 weeks ago. You guys know, you guys were with me when I did that, and kept everyone updated more or less in real time, right? So what else? Well, that's a big deal. Silver, and this can all be played with ETFs, right? So SLV is the ETF for silver. If you look at the price of silver, which has been very frustrating, it's a frustrating asset to be in many ways because it doesn't really, I don't know, because it doesn't really do a whole lot, and then all of a sudden it takes off. I don't know if this is the day or the moment it takes off, but it sure as hell looks like it's coiling. We've talked about it endlessly here. So, if silver managed to finally get its act together and get above, the high 34s, maybe even above 35, I mean, this thing can go to 40 pretty quickly. But again, that's if and when. That hasn't obviously happened. So this is more of a, getting people ready. I'm long silver. I do this kind of stuff through futures, but the SLV ETF or silver miner stocks, we talked about SILJ. These are junior miners. So if you like to gamble, SILJ is something that might fall into your wheelhouse. So gold, silver doing well, but again, it's not just because those things like to go higher, it's at the expense of the dollar going down, right? The dollar index this morning, as I said before, is down, and across the big currencies. So this is the dollar index. You can see it's down 60 basis points, which basically means the euro is up. So, for everyone here that looks at the breakout patterns and consolidation patterns and bull flags, which are taking place in the equity market, there's one in the euro dollar. So if there's nothing here that tells me that says that the euro can't break out higher, the dollar goes lower. So if this is the situation, then why the hell are equities going higher? There is a bit of a growth aspect here too. So it looks like the U.S. might be going into a decent inflationary period, back into higher inflation, but growth is not falling off. And so what happens is the algorithms buy stocks. Ultimately, as I always say, stock market investors get their net worth cut in half when they become greedy, and that's very much the case right now. However, short-term tactically, and this is not meant to be for investing, but for trading, look, the reality is that last Friday, once again, if you look at the NASDAQ 100, we rallied off the lows, right? So right into the close, the equity market was unable to stay down. And this is nothing more than algorithms that are probably picking up the passive flows of retail investors that are eternally bullish. I literally just this morning, I got back from the gym about an hour and a half ago. I spoke to my neighbor who is in a very well-to-do circle of people, of friends, all baby boomers, and they have very much the same attitude as a lot of people have that I see right now, which is they're not diversified, like not even a bit. Long in U.S. equities, and some of them are all U.S. long bonds, but they don't really know what to do with it. So we live in this time and age where, it's been so long since the U.S. equity market has had a problem, 15 years, that people can't imagine that it happens anymore, right? So I just want to make sure people are aware of what's going on. And again, I think short term, absolutely, the Nasdaq 100 could break higher still. I do want to be mindful, and I want to quickly share this with you before we look at oil and Palantir and LNG, which is a stock. But I want to just quickly show you the S&P 500, the SPY ETF. Let's look at the SPX because I've got some drawings on this one. So if we look at the SPX, what we notice here is that we have this, I'm going to delete some old drawings, this very, very strong rebound, which I wouldn't be surprised if at some point this summer this starts to break again. Again, I'm not there yet because it hasn't broken and it's not showing any signs yet of doing that. But I think, if the S&P and the Nasdaq test their all-time highs, maybe they may make marginal all-time highs over the next, days or weeks. Ultimately, the odds of us retesting those lows is still pretty good. It's just not right now. That's why we made a shift about 2 weeks ago that we thought this imminent retest of the lows was not in the cards, largely because of the shift that we saw take on tariffs. I will tell you, however, and I told members this morning in trade ops in our members areas, I'm extremely concerned about the geopolitical developments over the weekend. Clearly, markets don't seem to give a shit. Excuse my language. U.S. equity markets typically don't care about anything until someone hits the sell button. But there we are. Now, speaking of something that's constructive, look at Palantir, right? This is a stock that, from a valuation perspective, in many ways is insane. But listen, this stock is bullish. Like, it's just as simple as that. We look at Palantir, look at the chart of PLTR. I'm going to show you guys why we are bullish. We are bullish because the market rover is bullish. So this is the market rover here. This is our trend following software. You can see the latest trend following buy came on the 15th of April, and we remain trailing the stop. So I see no reason to be going against this. Palantir, as far as I'm concerned, can go to 140, 150 at this point. But just remember that this is a trade. This can change so quickly that you will not be able to get out. So treat it as a trade. Don't get married to it. That would be my my thoughts here through the lens of education. Also, our trender, our momentum indicator. So this is trend following. So from a trend following perspective, Palantir, of course, has been in the green background color, has been a buy, essentially is what I'm telling you, since May 2023. So it's now up 1,430%. And it remains to go higher. And so I don't want to disrespect this. I want to remain long Palantir, or at least respect the signal that's being long Palantir. So that's that one. Quickly on the, let me show this to you here. Oh, here, it's this one. If you look at Palantir from a trend following perspective, from a momentum perspective, this is what it looks like. So we still have a bullish momentum trade taking place in Palantir as well. That's the signal that came on the 14th of April. So for those of you guys using the TST trender, you should be doing very well in that stock. We've got our trailing stop in check here, which is the purple line. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this stock goes to 140, 150. Not that hard to imagine. Another stock that's interesting to me is LNG. We were in this stock, then got back out because it didn't act well this morning. Natural gas is up nicely. Natural gas is up 8% this morning. And I'm going to quickly show this to you here. If you look at natural gas, there, again, some of that might be because the dollar's down, but stock ticker LNG should be doing well in this kind of environment as well. Wouldn't be surprised. This goes into the mid 240s towards 250, and let's quickly check the market rover so I can give you an idea there. So again, this is from a trend following perspective. LNG, which is Cheniere Energy. Again, this is a natural gas play. You can see the stock went into a bullish trend in August of last year. It remains bullish. It's up about 30% since. But I think if it can clear, the 240 area, it should be able to get to 250, maybe 260 and beyond. So that's where we are on that. So, and the last thing quickly on oil, and then there's a couple of questions I want to address that are coming in here. I want to also show you what's taking place in oil. Oil is going up just like natural gas, just like silver, and the price of gold. I think oil here has a chance of really going higher. I actually would like to add oil to some of our portfolios and mock portfolios. So if you are a member, just maybe be out on the lookout for an email or in trade ops as well. So that's the price of oil here. It looks very nice technically as well, if that's what you're into. Technical stuff, obviously always an important part of an analysis for sure. You can maybe call this an inverse head and shoulders, whatever. TS Long is asking, if you missed the initial buy, is it still a buy or has it gone too far? I don't know which indicator you're talking about, TS Long, so if you can tell me what the indicator is you're looking at, I'll be happy to address that question. Steve's asking, are there any effects from the Italy volcano eruption? I'm not seeing anything. I mean, if you look at Italy's stock market this morning, it's essentially down 40 basis points. I don't think the move taking place in energy this morning is anything that I would relate to any volcanic situation in Italy. I actually was just in Italy up until Saturday. And it's actually one of the things they were talking about is that the potential there. TSLL, directional, is TSSL short? Well, if you're going to be momentum based, which is Tesla levered ETF, right? So know what you're doing. You're playing with fire when you play with those stocks. So you better, in my view, use a momentum. So if you use the trend or indicator, which is what we're using here for something like this, what I would do is I would use the trend or momentum indicator, because Tesla is a momentum stock. And what you'll see here is that we had a momentum buy signal, and then the stock rallied as much as 57%, but it's not, the stop is, for us, the stop is about $13.70. So I wouldn't go short. It's a momentum stock. So unless the momentum changes, I wouldn't be going short. And then TS Long is asking a PLTR. His question is, what is the potential for getting into Palantir? Well, what I don't do with the trender is I don't chase, right? So I typically wait for the stock to come back either to the blue line or to the purple line. At this point, we came back, we consolidate, and now we're breaking out. So I call this a second chance entry. It's something we talk about in the TSD Trender member sessions usually. So that's it, folks. Good, almost 20 minutes here this morning. Actually, a little bit less. I hope this was helpful. Thanks all for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. It allows us to continue to do the show and allows you to be updated in real time. Please give us a thumbs up, like. It's like literally all you have to do is hit one button. Really helps us out to be able to continue to do the show because the algos pick up that you guys are actually watching this. So thanks so much, folks. I'll see you over in Trade Ops in our members area. We've got a bunch of trades setting up here. See you guys over there, and have a great start to the week, and happy June.